That's why all my life I've been grinding all my life.
Welcome to the very first episode of the PACT Life podcast, audio only, where we will now be coming to you Tuesday weekly, giving you a breakdown of Monday Night Football, all the action from the Sunday football, and in addition to that, previews for Thursday Night Football.
Yes, sir.
I will be your host, Damon Geis, and I'm here with family.
I see what you did there. Thanks. We got Bruiser here today, ready to break down some NFL football.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we will start off in New Orleans.
The best game of the weekend.
Best game of the weekend. Drew Brees, Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins, Mike Thomas. The Saints walked out with a game winner on the leg of Will Lutz, 30-28, after Deshaun Watson took two throws downfield, one to DeAndre Hopkins and one to Kenny Stills to take the lead. But he gave Drew Brees too much time. One timeout, 37 seconds.
It's 37 seconds too much time.
37 seconds. I looked at it, man, and I was like, hey, I don't know. And Drew Brees comes out, boom, Mike Thomas. Boom, Mike Thomas. Boom, Ted Ginn. Will Lutz, all they have to do is get to the 40.
Career high for Will Lutz, 58 yards.
Like it was nothing. Let's talk about that, man. What are your biggest takeaways?
Takeaways. Well, on the Saints side of the ball on defense, I'm not ready to go into panic alert with the defense, not just yet. Maybe with P.J. Williams, but that's been a recurring theme with him for these past 3 seasons. But it is week 1, and for the Saints, this is their first time winning a week 1 game since 2013. So it's been 5-6 long years. So it's a good win. But on the defensive side of the ball, we were missing Sheldon Rankins and our interior with David Alumati's out for suspension. And it's also week 1. They're getting conditioning in, getting ready for the NFL season. So I'm not ready to go into panic mode yet with the Saints defense. But Saints offense, a little careless with the ball. Drew Brees out of character in the first half. However, he got it right in the second half. Went crazy. And he also got the playmakers involved. Kamara, Michael Thomas, Latavius Murray got the ground game going, and got the big tight end acquisition, Jared Cook, going. So second half, the Saints went crazy.
Jared Cook, he did look very good. Just a bigger target. Someone to take the pressure off Mike Thomas down the middle of the field. That's something we didn't see enough of last year. Adding on to what you said about the Saints offense, I do think at some point in the season they still will need to make an acquisition, getting a receiver who can take the top off the defense. I just don't believe Ted Ginn is still that. But when you look at what they have now, I'm still of the belief that they can be at the top of the NFC. You look at Mike Thomas, 10 catches, 123 yards. And, of course, he warrants the defense attention in the red zone as well as Kamara. So you look at those two guys, they didn't even score. Taysom Hill is the ultimate red zone weapon. Latavius Murray was able to get one from 30 yards out
flex
untouched.
player. Yep.
So you know Drew Brees was able to make a touchdown throw outside of the pocket. So when you have number 9 under center, especially a guy who's able to go ahead and get you in field goal range with 37 seconds left, it's not easy. And you have to believe. I do believe, if you were to, rank the quarterbacks in the NFC, you would have to go ahead and put Drew Brees number 1. And once you have a quarterback that's that elite at the top of that conference, you always have a chance. So with those playmakers, the rapport he has with Sean Payton, I still believe, the Saints will be there. And we'll see how they stack up against the Rams this week. But let's talk about the Texans. Making those trades with the Dolphins and acquiring Carlos Hyde.
Yeah, they were playing great. Hyde and Johnson, couple of penalties on them, false starts, but they still getting acclimated to the Bill O'Brien offense.
I do want to bring up a tweet that I saw from you.
Me?
When did Laramie Tunsil become a great left tackle? I said the same thing.
Yeah, it's the sports media hype. I know Tunsil's a good player. I believe he's out of Ole Miss, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Out of Ole Miss.
The draft
When
turmoil
when the footage came out on him, but I believe the sports media hyped up Laramie Tunsil. I believe he's a good tackle, but say he's the upper echelon, up and coming best tackles. There's Tyrone Smith, Teron Armstead, Trent Williams. He's not playing right now, but he's still good. What's Raiders right tackle acquisition? Another one, right tackle. They just got from the Patriots.
Slipping my mind right now.
I think.
But I know the Giants actually acquired Nate Soldier, who people believe is a pretty good tight end.
I think his last name's Cannon for the Raiders.
Oh, Marcus Cannon.
Marcus Cannon. So like one of the elite tackles, but I don't think Tunsil's that yet. And that shows when he gave up a critical sack when the Saints defense got there and had forced pressure on Deshaun Watson late in the fourth quarter.
Now I do want to give hats off to Bill O'Brien. I've been pretty heavy on Bill O'Brien. I do want to say that. Since week 1 of last year, he had a call against the Patriots where he said it's not my job. But just seeing how he took,
Well, he still had some coaching errors. He called a timeout to challenge it, and he lost both his timeouts in the first half.
He did, but I believe when you're going against someone with the stature of Sean Payton in a Monday Night Football game on the road,
and that crazy New Orleans crowd.
I like what I saw. The call early with Deshaun Watson to keep that quarterback pull, and he took it all the way to the end zone. Not being, passive aggressive, putting the ball, taking the ball downfield, going straight to nuke when you need to. That's what I like to see.
We gotta give Deshaun Watson his credit though. He's pushing for that trying to get out of Tier B.
Oh, he is. He's
breaking.
I think that was
balling.
That was a very good start, but it doesn't hurt when, and I might be ready to go with this. The best receiver in the league.
Nope.
I might be ready to give him that title.
He had multiple drops this game, and I saw his career goals. He posted on social media, 0 drops, and he had
Started
3 or
off
4.
the game with 2 drops.
Yeah. So,
but
he's up there for sure. He's the best.
8 receptions, 111 yards, and a suplex. It's not bad.
I think to start the season, he's I can't even say undisputed because the other receivers had good games. Sammy Watkins had a good game.
But as far as those elite guys, AB didn't play. Julio was kind of iffy against Xavier Rhodes. If I'm doing my top 5 rankings and I'm basing off where I started them to start the season, I'd say Julio and AB slide down, and DeAndre Hopkins and Mike Thomas slide up.
I agree. What about that Texans defense though? J.J. Watt didn't have a hurry or quarterback pressure on Breeze. Is that just credit to Ryan Ramczyk and that Saints O-line, or is J.J. Watt teetering towards getting out of his prime?
Well, shout out to my boy Jadeveon Clowney who landed his first sack. I think he may be the reason that they're starting to, not be as aggressive on that, pass rush side. That's something that Houston prides themselves on defense. That's a big reason they felt they didn't need to bring back Tyrann. They brought back Aaron Colvin, but as we saw, he got bombed deep by Ted Ginn, which almost cost them the game. So when you look at that Texans defense, trading Jadeveon Clowney, not knowing what else you have on that side of the ball, it looks like it's going to come down to hurt them. Now, I do believe with Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins and those weapons on offense, they'll be able to go ahead and win the division. But as far as, being one of those true competitors in the AFC against Kansas City and Brady, if you don't have a pass rush,
that's true.
You're not getting to those guys, and you're not going to cause pressure. And with the weapons now Brady has and Mahomes, we know what he can do with Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, now Sammy Watkins. I just don't see the Texans being there all the way at the end.
Before we get off this Texans Saints game, I had a tweet. I tweeted something last night, and I think more teams should adapt this strategy. So rather than running out the clock, and you know how they try to run out the clock and they kick the field goal, go up by 3 or 6, so the other teams get a chance to score. Not in today. I think in today's NFL, teams got to be more aggressive and throwing it on first down, throwing it on third downs or second downs instead of just running out the clock more and attempt to get a first down, don't get it, and just kick the field goal and have time left for the other team to go down there and score. That's what the Saints did. They ran it 3 straight times, kicked the field goal, and then Deshaun Watson on 2 plays go down there and score. Well, then Saints get the ball back in 4 plays, go down there and score in 37 seconds. So I think in today's NFL, we need more aggression rather than trying to waste the clock, because if we go to a team with these heavy NFL offenses like the Chiefs, the Texans, and the Saints, you gotta be more aggressive and can't get the ball back into the hands of these great quarterbacks.
Well, that's something that stood out to me. Now it's funny that you bring that up because I thought the Saints came out too aggressive in the NFC Championship when they threw the ball to Mike Thomas on the first down.
Okay.
Of course, they had to run it on second down.
This is after the Ginn bomb.
Yes.
Okay. Before the controversial
Right.
penalty. Okay.
So they run the ball on second down. The Rams use a timeout. Then they throw the ball, the no call, and the Rams save a timeout. So it was just kind of funny to me how the Saints came out again with that approach to not be aggressive, and it almost cost them the game. So I'm with you. I definitely believe teams need to go ahead and start putting their foot on the throats of other teams and go ahead and sealing it because, there's not many elite quarterbacks, but
in today's NFL, though, it seems like
know.
almost every team offense is dynamic, except for like a handful of teams that aren't.
Right, and it's very much more out of the hands of the quarterbacks now that you can challenge pass interference. It's something that those guys are going to be willing to take that chance and see what happens. So I'm with you on that 100%.
Facts, D-Jax.
Now, moving on to our other Monday Night Football game, the Raiders.
The Black Hole. Are they back for real?
Knock on wood if you're with me. John Gruden.
Are they serious?
John Gruden. Derek Carr. Tyrell Williams. Not Antonio Brown. Tyrell Williams and Josh Jacobs. What a coming out party for the Raiders.
Coming out party for their rookies. Abrams, Cleveland Farrell, and Josh Jacobs.
Hard knocks, man. You look at the Raiders, they were able to come out on top against their AFC West rival, Denver Broncos. When I look at this game, for me, I still pick the Raiders, even with the news of AB departing. I'm just not sold on Denver.
I'm with you now.
With Joe Flacco, I know what I'm getting. And Derek Carr, we seen him have an MVP season. Of course, him losing Antonio Brown, things didn't look too good, but he came out there, he got the ball out quick. 22 for 26, 259, 1 touchdowns and 0 interceptions against that defense.
Good game.
Now, all credit, the Broncos defense didn't look as good, but you have to believe that somewhat on the fact of the Raiders were able to keep a balanced offensive attack with getting Josh Jacobs, their rookie running back out of Alabama, 23 carries for 85 yards and 2 touchdowns. You had Tyrell Williams, and that was the thing that stood out to me the most. Derek Carr wasn't forcing the ball to one guy. If you look at the stats, he has 7 different receivers with the ball caught. You cannot say that one time last year. In addition to that, he had 2 guys with +5 catches, Tyrell Williams and Darren Waller. So when I look at the Raiders, no, this may not be a team that is going to be there in December with a chance to make the playoffs. I doubt it. We know what their defense is, a bunch of young guys, and we're not sure if they're going to be able to put it together. But as far as what they're setting out to do, I think John Gruden, within his 10 years, is bringing in guys who believe in what he's trying to install. And I see them finishing third in their division. Like I said, I'm not too sold on Denver. I know what Joe Flacco is.
Is it just week one? Because usually the Monday night week 1 games, the team that's not expected to win usually wins. Seen that in some cases in the previous years. I'm not ready to give out on Denver just yet because they do have a future Hall of Famer in Von Miller and a great corner in Chris Harris Jr. It's just
Bradley Chubb, yeah.
I think it's just week 1 against a divisional opponent. It's always tough. So I'm not ready to count out the Broncos just yet. I still have the Broncos finishing ahead of the Raiders because I feel like even though AB is still out of there, I still feel like there's still dysfunction there somewhere. I still feel, this is just me personally, I feel Derek Carr will not be the quarterback for the future for this franchise. But that's just me. But my biggest takeaway from this game was the Raiders, man, I think they're over the AB situation. They had a strong game. Josh Jacobs, 23 carries, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns.
In his rookie debut, there's only been one rookie running back ever to score 2 touchdowns in their debut. LaDainian Thomas.
Baller. And on defense, they're hard-hitting young safeties, Jonathan Abrams and Carl Joseph.
I like it.
Cleveland Farrell getting after the ball. You see when they score a touchdown, you see Vontae's perfect reaction on the sideline. They're buying into what John Gruden is selling. So I believe this team is over the Antonio Brown drama over the training camp and preseason. But I just feel like this team won't be able to get over the hump. Not this year. I think they are setting this team up for when they go to Vegas to be a potential contender with the Chiefs, with the Chargers, with the Ravens, and potentially with the Patriots, seeing if Brady still plays or not.
I can agree with that. Now, as far as you saying it was just week 1, Oakland does have to play Kansas City next week.
This is true.
So
Patty.
last year they had them at the end of the game. It was 30-24, and Mahomes went out in there and was able to put. So we'll see if these guys in Oakland for real are able to make this one a game. And Denver they play Chicago at home, correct? Seeing how Mitchell Trubisky came out, if Denver is able to get their pass rush, I'm gonna go ahead and take Denver in that game.
Yep, in Denver
over Chicago.
Big Vanjo revenge game.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely take Denver.
We get to see 2 great pass rushers too, in Khalil Mack and Von Miller.
Bradley Chubb. You got
Akeem Hicks.
You got some young guys on that defense for Denver that need to start smelling themselves. Wake up a little bit, because I think that's gonna be a wake up call for them. I would say Derek Carr is better than Mitchell Trubisky, so I think they'll be a little bit more comfortable, especially playing at home.
Yep. Mile high.
Moving back to Sunday's NFL action, we have a new segment here where we will be doing each Sunday game in 3 words, and then go ahead and breaking down that in a quick little fashion.
Not 1, not 2, just 3.
3 words. We'll start off with the Rams and Panthers. I'm going to go ahead and say Goff worth it?
The contract?
Is he worth it? Now, from how I look at what the Rams were able to come out and do, they were able to get Malcolm Brown and their rookie running back Henderson. They drafted in the 3rd round, if I'm correct. Mm-hmm. They were able to get him involved. Gurley didn't, play as much, but when he was in the game, you knew he was Todd Gurley. But, as far as the Rams, I don't think they looked as dominant as their previous self. You look at this Carolina team, of course, they have some young playmakers. But as far as their defense, all they have is Luke Kuechly, really. That stands out to you. Goff threw a pick to James Bradbury. You have Eric Reed in that secondary, but, I don't see the Rams being that much of a threat this year. I think they'll be in the playoffs. This may be a little biased, but I do have my Seahawks winning the division. But you look at the Rams' schedule; they do have some tough games. Got to go to Chicago later in the year. I believe they will take a L and drop to 1-1 this week in the Saints' revenge game.
Yep.
I believe they play Dallas down the road. So as far as the Rams, they're gonna have some big tests. And with Aaron Donald, it's been a while since I've seen him go a game without a sack. So we're going to have to see how the Rams stack up.
For me, for this Rams and Carolina game, I have my 3 words are, where is Super Cam? He hasn't gotten back to his MVP form in 2015 since the devastating loss against the Denver Broncos that year, completing 25 passes out of 38 attempts, 239 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception. And most of his completions went to his running back, Christian McCaffrey. And I know Christian McCaffrey is great, but Cam, you can't just dink and dack the ball each play. You have to get your receivers open. I know I see he targeted DJ Moore 10 times, and Greg Olsen. But other than that, the Carolina Panthers need playmakers to Cam to throw the ball to, other than McCaffrey, because McCaffrey can only do so much. It's because you at the end of the day, you need a playmaker on the outside of the ball. Like almost every elite team has that. Kelsey for the Chiefs, Saints, Michael Thomas. Rams, you could say Gurley, but their receivers, they go out and get it too. Patriots, Patriots, Edelman, and the acquisition of AB to even further their master plan. So I think the Panthers need to go out and do Cam a service, get him a great playmaker on the outside.
I can agree. Next game, Redskins versus Eagles. D-Jax is back.
Yes, sir.
Sean Jackson. It looked good to see him in that 10 out there catching bombs on Josh Norman. Tell them they need to go get their money back. Carson Wentz came out, played great, 30 for 44. They did start off a little slow, but he was able to finish the game with 380 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. And when I look at this Eagles team, bringing Deshaun Jackson back.
Resilient, for
sure. They bring back a deep ball option that they did not have consistently last year. If Carson Wentz is able to stay healthy, I definitely believe they'll be one of the powerhouses in the NFC, one of the few teams I believe can go to New Orleans and bring down the Saints. We saw them last year right there neck and neck with the Saints to the last play. So when I look at this team, I'm a believer in Philly. Walk it to them, hand it to them. Wins.
Walk it to them. For me, for this game, I have finished the game. The Washington Redskins were up by 17, correct? And they could not finish this game. Case Keenum had an extraordinary game. 380 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and you still find a way to lose this game up 17? I don't know if it's just the Philly has this championship DNA that the Washington Redskins don't possess, or a coaching difference between Doug Peterson and Jay Gruden, but a 17-point lead going into the half, you can't blow that. That's any NFL team. You can't blow that. So, Redskins, I'm not high on them, but I still feel like they're always the 8-8, 9-7 team, like average. And this is a game they should have won, a tough divisional game they should have won in Philly, the game momentum for the season, but somehow they found a way to blow this game.
Now let me ask you, say Case Keenum puts up a similar stat line to this for the next 4 weeks. They drop all 4. Do you put Dwayne Haskins in the game? Just to see what you have. I mean, the season's going to be lost at that point because you know the Eagles and
Dallas,
the Cowboys are going to be right around there.
I don't think you put Haskins in the game because from what I'm seeing, just looking at the stats, it's not his fault. The defense isn't doing their job into holding the lead, but offense as well should be still putting up points, not settling for 3 and outs and giving the game away. So I would not put Haskins in, not after 5 weeks. I think when the season is totally in doubt, that's when you have to give it to Haskins.
When you're officially eliminated.
Or on the brink, like 1 game away.
Okay. Now, I do want to give a shout-out to Terry McLaurin. OSU. Mike Thomas put me on. You look at Ohio State football players all around the league. We might have to acknowledge that with your Big Ten debate. You have Mike Thomas.
That's what I be trying to tell.
Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa.
OSU players are going crazy.
Malcolm Jenkins. Hey, man. You got to pay some respect there.
For sure.
Next game, Bills versus Jets. The bells are ringing. I know that's 4. I shouldn't have said that. But bells are ringing. Le'Veon Bell, his first game back after missing an entire season. And this guy just comes out, scores, next play, 2-point conversion. I mean, yes, the Jets didn't walk away with the win. But when you look at that team, I believe with guys like C.J. Mosley, Jamal Adams, Le'Veon Bell, these are guys who've, at some point in their college/NFL careers have gone through adversity. So you actually have that to where now teams, or let me correct myself, the media is going to talk about them in a way that, are the Jets done? These are guys that can rally that roster and say, hey, man, we got a good bunch here. We can go ahead and do something. Look at Sam Darnold. I don't think he played the best. But when it came down the stretch, Josh Allen outplayed him. And in that division, right now, Brady and them are going to win it for, I think this will be the 17th straight year.
Crazy.
But
dominance.
But we need to start seeing who's going to rear their head. We know for a fact it's not going to be the Dolphins. But
not this year.
These are the 2 teams that I think are going to be able to set themselves apart. Right now, I think the Jets have the better roster. But you make a debate, the Bills have the better coach.
Yep, Sean McDermott. Which leads me to my 3 words. Who's finishing second? Because we already know New England is going to run away with this division as they always do for the past decade plus. But this game just shows me that the Bills are one step closer to clinching that second place in the AFC East.
Yep. Next, Falcons versus Vikings. Paid Julio, but everything else looks kind of shaky. You have Matt Ryan throwing an interception in the red zone. The defense, while they only did allow Kirk Cousins to throw for 98 passing yards, Dalvin Cook cooked them. 21 carries, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns with a 5.3 yards per carry. You can't have that if you're Atlanta. You don't even let Thielen and Diggs get the opportunity to cook you. You're letting Dalvin cook you. So when I look at the Falcons, they really need to start getting it together because this is a team which myself personally, I don't know why, people really believe in. So they have a good roster. I do think they'll be amongst teams that can go ahead and make a playoff push. Once they catch heat, that's the most dangerous thing. But now they run the risk of dropping to 0-2 because I do believe that's what they'll do with Philly coming to town this week.
Sunday Night Football, NBC. For me, my 3 words is Captain Kirk back? ?
Oh, my Lord.
Kirk Cousins, 8 for 10, 98 yards, 1 touchdown. A beautiful game. He didn't even have to throw the ball this game as the running game was on. And with Norv Turner coming there and being their offensive assistant, I just think Kirk Cousins this year is going to prove a lot of people wrong. And that shows he's a good quarterback. This game, he didn't have to throw the ball. But if they needed him to throw the ball, just looking at his stats, he would have came in and got the job done. 2 great receivers on the outside and Thielen and Diggs.
Well, he did
just
rush
like
for a
his team is
touchdown.
nice.
So, when I look
6
at Kirk
carries, 4 yards, 1 touchdown.
yeah,
Yep.
the quarterback dive, Drew Brees style. I mean, I gotta give him his credit. I just think
He gonna prove you wrong.
we'll have to revisit this with our visuals. I don't think he'll play that way against Green Bay.
You got okay.
Chiefs versus Jags, back to back. Will Mahomes repeat as MVP?
The way it's looking, it's a 3-man race.
It's a 3-man race.
Mahomes, Breeze, and Lamar Jackson.
I know. It's only, folks. We know it's only week 1, but when you have a guy who's coming out here, and of course Jacksonville doesn't have Telvin Smith, but they still have Jalen Ramsey, AJ Boye, and this guy is running up to the line, doing no-look passes, saying, Travis Kelce, like he literally threw that no-look pass and told Travis Kelce, my bad, I got you. Next play, throws a touchdown. Then later in the game, has an injury. There's a little scuffle, comes back in, throws a touchdown. So when you look at this guy, he's there. He has all the tools. He has he has the whole package: the arm, the legs, the IQ, the swagger.
Lost his best wideout, and Sammy Watkins picks up the slack.
Right. Right. And he knows how to spread the ball. So when I look at this Chiefs team, the defense may not be elite as, the Patriots. And while if I had to say who would win, I'm going to take the Patriots. I think I'm comfortable saying the Chiefs will be the 2 seed, and we'll be seeing an AFC championship between the Patriots and the Chiefs again.
For me, my 3 words is gotta grow up. Come on, Jacksonville. Fighting. I know it's a hard-fought game. It's hot in Duval. The Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes MVP. He's cocky. He has swagger, finesse. But fighting, getting ejected from the game only in the second quarter, I believe. Miles Jack getting ejected. Then I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. It's just struggling off the field. Nick Foles did get hurt. Praying for Nick Foles. Hope he gets better. And they did a great job with his rookie Gardner Minshew. 22 completions on 25 attempts, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. But it just feels as this Jags team is immature still. Like Doug Marrone hasn't got through anything yet to grow up.
Right.
So ever since they lost the AFC Championship game, this team has been on a downward spiral. So, and I had the Jaguars winning this game, so that hurt me, messed up my pick record. So, just they gotta grow up. This team has to grow up.
I will say I'm very impressed with what I saw of the wide receivers.
Oh yeah, DJ Shark from LSU, boot boy for sure.
DJ Chark, Chris Conley, revenge game. So, and D.D. Westbrook had a touchdown. So when you look at this Jaguars team, if they're able to put the pieces together, I don't think they will be able to keep up with the Texans offensively. But if that defense can just come through.
Yeah, they were playing on an elite offense,
right.
A top tier upper echelon offense. They won't see that every week.
Right. So we'll just have to see. Week one. Titans versus Browns. Slow our roll. Not slow your roll, because everybody was riding that Browns hype train. And I'm comfortable with saying, I know people said this is kind of like a trap game in week 1, but most people picked the Cleveland Browns for this game.
Yep.
Especially me. When you saw Odell come out that tunnel in that Cleveland uniform, man. You saw Jarvis with the special edition Air Max cleats. I mean, this team just has so much swagger, but we just have to see how long it's going to take them to put it all together. They have the talent. They have the quarterback. You know, we saw this guy break the rookie passing touchdown record. We saw Odell have records and Jarvis have records, and talk about how elite of an offense this is going to be. We just have to see them put that together, and I believe that's the biggest thing.
For me, my 3 words are for the Titans-Browns game is, should I buy? ? So this Tennessee Titans team is one of the most anomalies. I don't even know. That's not even a word. Like, they're an anomaly. They beat they beat good teams or teams that are favored to beat them or like quote unquote overhyped, but then they drop games they should win. This Titans team is so unpredictable week in and week out. I just feel like it's any given Sunday with them. Mariota had a great game, showing his maturity, having 248 yards for 3 touchdowns. And Derrick Henry had 19 carries for 84 yards on a touchdown and a receiving touchdown on a running back screen. So I can't buy into the Titans just yet. I just have to see them put up more wins against quality opponents.
I agree.
Because they go up against, let's say, a weaker team in the AFC and they drop it. It's like they fluctuate week in, week out. So the Titans need to get stack up more quality wins, and I'll see if I should buy into them or not.
My thing with Tennessee, their biggest problem is gone. Andrew Luck has been their biggest problem year after year after year. He even beat them week 17 last year in Sunday Night Football to propel his team into the playoffs and knock the Titans out. So we'll just see how they stack up with him gone. Colts versus Chargers. Enjoy retirement, Andrew. The Colts will be just fine. I really like what I saw of Jacoby Brissett.
I like him too.
I really like what I saw out of him. You know, T.Y. was able to continue to make those plays. You have Marlon Mack, who picked up from where he left off in the playoffs. But I just want to give a shout-out to Malik Hooker with, I think, the play of the week 1. One-handed interception. And it's hard to get Phillip Rivers. It's hard to get him frustrated in the red zone because he does not make mistakes like that. But when you snag a ball like that, shout out Ohio State, that guy made the play of the week in my opinion. But as far as the Colts are concerned, if Jacoby Brissett comes out and plays like that every week, I can see them being an issue.
True. I thoroughly like Jacoby Brissett. For me, got you. For me, my 3 words are next boat up. Melvin Gordon out with his contract issues, but Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson steps up and go have a great game. Austin Eckler, 12 carries, 58 yards for a touchdown, while Justin Jackson compliments him with 6 carries and 57 yards. And Austin Eckler in the passing game, 6 receptions for 96 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Man.
So
prayers to anybody who had to go against Austin Eckler
in fantasy.
I did, and I lost 2 games.
So this shows that maybe Phillip Rivers' comments over the offseason weren't in bad taste per se. They were just saying we have a lot of great guys, and they proved it week 1, Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson. So
now we'll have to
next
see how they stack against the elite defenses, though. True.
But this Colts team in the latter half of last season proved to be a top 15 defense. They were good, quality. Darius Leonard.
They did.
They were playing great football.
I just think when you have a quarterback like Phillip Rivers and the rapport he has with Keenan Allen, you're always going to be there offensively. My biggest question for this team is, will they be able to stop the high-powered offenses without the services of Derwin James?
Okay.
That'll be the biggest thing for me. Now, I did like what I saw out of Brissett, but I can't help to think he wouldn't have played that good if 33 is in the lineup. Next, Bengals versus Seahawks.
What you got?
I'm not even going to go my Seahawks route on this.
Really?
Not bad, Zach. Rookie head coach Zach Taylor goes up to Seattle and loses by 1 point. When have you ever heard of that for a rookie head coach?
It's true.
You know, I was very impressed from what I saw out of Andy Dalton. Set a new career high in completions and passing yardage in Seattle. It's not an easy thing to do. When you look at John Ross, this is a guy who Marvin Lewis would throw the ball to 3 times a game, and they were RPOs. You have to get this guy involved. He's a game breaker, speed. We saw the play, if you watched this game, because most people were watching the Dallas game, but with this John Ross, 37 seconds left in the half. I don't know what it's about 30 seconds. But
this week is crazy.
John Ross, boom, 50-yard touchdown to end the half. You get this guy involved. I can't wait to see what this offense is going to look like with AJ Green.
Yep.
Tyler Boyd had a pretty nice game with 8 catches for 60 yards. But, of course, I think John Ross was the biggest story. Now, prayers up to Joe Mixon. Hope he can bounce back from this little injury he has. But, hey, man. With what the Steelers put out there, this could be the second team in the division.
That's bold, That's kind of bold.
I don't know, man.
Second best team in the division?
You know how I felt about them without Marvin. And that defense, man, that defense was flying.
Second best in the division.
Second best in the division.
Yeah, it's week one. It's week one. I keep telling myself that.
Now let's. I'm not saying they'll do anything in the playoffs because it's been 40, 30 years since they won a playoff game. But this is a team you have to go ahead and give your hats off to. Go up to Seattle and put in an effort like that.
For me, it's new Seahawks go. All the Seahawks acquisition. Well, not all. I want to say all, but the notable Seattle acquisitions had a good game. Jadeveon Clowney had a sack and a tackle for loss, and the emergence of rookie DK Metcalf.
That boy is
4 receptions, 89 yards. Seattle got another one.
And I feel like he should get appreciated for those pass interference calls. He warranted 3 pass interference calls, so he would have really had 100 yards in his debut game. It's very impressive.
DK Metcalf, good job to him and Clowney coming over from the trade and getting acclimated with the Seattle defense and in over a week.
Now I have to tell you, my biggest game of the year is going to be Seahawks versus Saints. I can't wait to see how that matchup lines up.
It's gonna be a good one.
Russell
the Saints
Wilson,
know how to put on the show. That's
Russell
a fact.
Wilson, CBS, Tony Romo on the call. So can't wait to see how that one's gonna go. Next game, 49ers versus Bucks. See you, Jameis.
You gonna do Jameis like that?
See you, Jameis. If Bruce Arians can't fix you, I'm very much of the belief that no one can fix you. And with Jameis coming out throwing 3 interceptions, 2 for a pick 6.
I know. Richard Sherman got him one. Woo.
Shout out Sherman, man. I miss you. Miss you in Seattle, man. But when you look at this guy, I mean, and, you know, they say Mike Evans was fighting an illness. Okay, I can go ahead and acknowledge that. But you have to make better choices. You have to go through all your reads. You've been in the league for a while now. You were the number 1 pick, and you just can't help but think Marcus Mariota goes up to Cleveland and puts on a show. And you, on the other hand, have a great offensive coordinator that came out of retirement because he believed what he saw in you, and you can't come out like this. I just think Jameis needs to turn it on, and I don't think, you know, this Thursday night football game is going to be the one that turns it on for him. So
me neither.
It's just very frustrating. But as far as the 49ers, hey, man.
I got it. Here they come.
Oh, my.
I had prior to the preseason starting the 49ers being the 3rd seed in the NFC, and although the offense struggled with Garoppolo having 1 TD, 1 interception, and only 166 yards, boy, that defense. 3 INTs, Richard Sherman, Witherspoon, the pass rush getting to him, Nick Bosa getting there, and DeForest Buckner and Solomon Thomas getting there.
They have a nasty front 4, man.
And they're hungry, bro. And Kyle Shanahan is going to get this offense right. He's an offensive genius in his own right, similar to Sean McVay. And when he gets his offense going and the defense playing like that, here they come. NFC West, the 49ers, look out for them. They're coming.
Now, 2 things I want to point out. 1, prayers up to Tevin Coleman, fighting a sprained ankle. I do think Matt Breida will step up in a big way, and Rasheem Mostert.
Yep.
He'll have a.
That's a waiver wire pickup fantasy people. Raheem Mostert.
Shout out fantasy here on the Pack Life Pod. But let me ask you something. Better quarterback at the end of the season. Better Tom Brady backup quarterback. Jimmy
or Brissett.
I'm gonna ride with Brissett, man.
How?
I'm gonna ride with Brissett. The AFC is easier, and I believe
that is true. The AFC is easier,
and I believe Brissett is just playing with less pressure. Even though he's coming off Andrew Luck's retirement, Jimmy G's coming off an injury.
Yep.
He's the $100 million man, and this team, you know, he goes down. We've already seen what they are without him. So Jimmy G, I think, is under more pressure. I think Brissett will have a better year.
But you said better year. It gotta be Jimmy. They pay you if you pay this quarterback because you know what he can produce. They didn't go out and get him for no reason. They went out and get him. They went out and got him for him to lead them to the postseason and win quality games, win postseason games, and potentially win a Super Bowl. So at the end of the year, this is one bad game. It is Tampa Bay, and their defense is spiraling with the because they were the bad defense last year, correct? Yes. So
the worst.
Yes. So just one bad game. Week 1, I'm not gonna over exaggerate. I think Jimmy will bounce back week 2 as they play the. Let's see. They play the Bengals. I feel it'll be a bounce back game. You taking?
I'm taking Cincy.
Why are you disrespecting Jimmy Garoppolo like this?
I liked what I saw of the red BB gun.
But at the end of the year, I do think Garoppolo will have a better year than Brissett. Although you are correct that Garoppolo has more pressure than Brissett, even though Brissett does have pressure being Andrew Luck's successor, quote unquote.
Gotcha. Giants versus Cowboys. More than 40? Did Dak's stock just go up? I think so, man. I know this Giants defense isn't, one of the game's elite, but when you look at how he played, man, Zeke only had 53 rushing yards. This wasn't one of those games where Zeke, took over at the end and put it on ice. Dak was hot the whole way through. Now, I do have to give my hats off to that Dallas Cowboys defense. I do think with the young guys that they have on this side, they'll be one of the elite for years to come. Mm-hmm. But number 4 is special. And I've been saying it. He may not, throw for the most yards each week, but he gets it done. The only guy who has more quarterbacks, the only quarterback that has more wins than him since he's entered the league is the greatest. It's only Brady. So when you look at that, 25 for 32, 405, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Zeke only toted 13 times.
The New York Giants. Come on, seriously.
Come on, man.
The Giants.
He always plays bad against them.
The Giants.
He always plays bad against them, man. Nah, the Cowboys do have a relatively easy schedule to start the season.
It is so sweet.
Maybe the easiest.
It is so easy.
But I do think he'll come out and show out for all 3 of them. 1 down, 2 to go.
My 3 words for this Giants-Cowboys game of the Week 1 of the NFL season is not Eli's fault. No siree.
I believe.
30 completions, 44 attempts, 306 yards, 1 touchdown. How can you blame Eli for that performance?
You can't.
How?
I don't think you blame anyone. The Cowboys are just flat out.
They are a better team.
Just flat out better.
And Saquon had a buck 20 and 11 carries.
Will Saquon lead the league in rushing?
No.
No? Who you got?
Who do I have to lead the league in rushing? Marlon Mack did come off strong.
I got a hot take for you.
I like Dalvin Cook.
Mark Ingram. He's going to get the totes.
I don't know.
He's going to get the totes. And it's
looking
like they might have to
gonna be splitting carries.
It looks like they might have to take people out the box.
I
don't know, man.
They're going to be splitting carries with they got Gus Edwards. They had a rookie as well, I believe.
Yeah, but you know how Mark Ingram gets when he gets going. Look at the detail. I believe in you, Mark. Come through.
Dalvin Cook's gonna have a great year in Minnesota. So, and they're more run heavy as well. So
yeah, we know that.
I'd like Dalvin Cook for my week 1 pick to win and be the NFL's leading rusher.
We know why they have to be run heavy.
Don't disrespect Kurt.
We know why. Next, Lions versus Cards.
Woo!
Kyler the Creator. That will be my official nickname for Kyler going forward. Kyler the Creator. While no team came away victorious in this game, I feel like the Cardinals won and the Lions lost.
Yep.
When you look at the Lions coaching staff to call that timeout in the 4th quarter.
Darren Bevell.
I'm so happy he's out of Seattle, man. Nothing against him personally, but just some of the decisions he makes. Once you start getting going with a special quarterback, you're the offensive coordinator. Sit back, just call the plays. If they want an audible, if they want a timeout, they'll call it.
You see Stafford's frustration after he made the timeout.
Yeah, man, and I hope Patricia steps up and lets him know, hey, man, let him have it, because this is the year for them to not finish last.
It's gonna be tough.
I'm telling you,
it's gonna be tough.
I think the Bears may finish 6-10.
Whoa,
I went through their schedule.
That's a hot take for sure.
I went through
with
their
that
schedule.
Defense.
The defense is special, but Broncos have finished 6-10, 5-11. So
but the Bears have more talent than the Broncos.
But it's just losing a defensive coordinator,
Big Fangio,
of that standard. Being as good as you were last year, and I just don't believe in Trubisky. He really has to show me.
Yep.
So, but back to the Lions, and the Lions and Cardinals. I think Kyler's going to be special
Yes, he will.
special. I think we're looking at the offensive rookie of the year.
Yep.
I think we're looking at David Johnson putting his name back in as one of the top backs in the league, catching a touchdown, rushing for 82 yards, and having 6 catches, And Larry Legend, living like Larry.
Kyler did have a bad 3 quarters, though. But in the fourth quarter where the game is on the line, come in and comes through for his team and lead them to overtime.
He was on his Tebow-ish.
And my 3 words for the Lions team is can't get right. Come on, Detroit. They were up by 3 scores, correct?
18 points.
18 points. And you blow the lead to a rookie quarterback. I know Kyler Murray is special, though. I love Kyler, but that's similar to what I said about the Redskins. You going into the fourth, 15 minutes left, and you blow an 18-point lead. Come on, Detroit.
And this is Matthew
Can't
Stafford,
get right.
who, in all respect, while Bevel did call the timeout, Matthew Stafford has been here before. Case Keenum is not Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford has to put the team on his back and finish that one. So
can't get right. But shout out to T.J. Hawkinson.
Rookie tight end,
Rookie
man.
debut, great one. 6 receptions, 131 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah, man. We need you to keep that up. The tight end production in fantasy is very scarce.
For sure.
And lastly, Steelers versus Patriots.
We didn't do the Ravens and Dolphins.
Oh, sorry. Did skip the Ravens and Dolphins. Y'all heard Lamar? That's my 3 words. Y'all heard Lamar? Not bad for a running back. He's a baller, man. The Florida boys went home and they did their thing. Hollywood Brown and
Called him.
my pick for the leading rusher, Mark Ingram. I just think this is a team with that defense. Shout out Earl Thomas. Seattle players just making plays all over the league. But, you look at these guys. After week 1, I think they're the favorites to win the division.
For sure. Only team that won.
Now, of course, this is week 1. I think a lot of things in week 1 can be, sort of
misleading,
scratched out,
for sure.
Except for the fact that most people believe the Dolphins would probably be the worst team in the league.
And speaking of that, my 3 words is tank for Tua. We all know coming to the season that the Dolphins were probably going to be the worst team in the National Football League. And although head coach Brian Flores doesn't want to admit that the team is tanking because he doesn't want to disrespect the game, and in the viewers' eyes, everybody knows this Miami Dolphins team. They need a spark at quarterback, similar to the Cardinals last year, similar to the Browns 2 years prior. They need a spark, and that spark is in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Tua Tagovailoa will be the first overall pick in the NFL, I believe.
I was gonna troll you with my Justin Herbert. I'm gonna do it right now. I believe you're right. So, I think we'll see Tua, and it's very possible we may see Judy with him.
That would be crazy.
They have the stock to trade up. So we'll see.
They need to shore up that O-line though, because Fitzpatrick was out there running.
It doesn't matter who you have behind center. If you don't have no O-line, man, it's gonna get nasty.
Yep.
Lastly, Steelers versus Patriots. Same old-ish.
Guess who's back? Back again.
You would, hey, there's not much to say, and I took, a little bit of heat of this, but when you look at teams, now I know that the Patriots are basically going to be there in the AFC Championship anytime, any year. It doesn't really matter, but I think it may be time for the Steelers to move on from Mike Tomlin.
That is so outlandish to say.
He can get you 11 wins at best, 12 wins at best. I don't think they're winning the division this year. But if they don't make the playoffs, I definitely think it's time for him to go.
A 2-time Super Bowl champion?
You do all this talking about how you're going to be better without AB and how you got rid of locker room cancer and you can't wait to see how these guys fly around. And you come out and you can't even give me a touchdown? With your high-powered offense, with one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
His resume, bro. It
just feels like the guys aren't playing for him. Now, we'll have to see how they stack up this week against my Seahawks. But if you give me this same effort at home at Heinz Field, those guys will be calling for his head.
Maybe we shouldn't be blaming this on Mike Tomlin. But maybe when you look at the quarterback who contemplated retiring in the season before in Big Ben Roethlisberger.
I can acknowledge that.
Because Deion Sanders Primetime made a prediction on NFL Game Day Prime saying that Ben Roethlisberger won't finish the season. And at the time, I thought that was crazy to say because Big Ben just led the league in passing yards, like career highs and
passing attempts.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but looking at it, maybe Big Ben's not having fun anymore. It's like he doesn't want to do it. He keeps hitting like when you hit your peak, you can't like beat you. Like the Patriots is their peak; they can't get past them.
Right.
Every time you keep hitting that wall, it's like it wears you down mentally, physically. So
Or
maybe Big Ben might maybe be time for him to call it quits.
Or he's just run out of people to blame. I think that may be it. He's just there's no Le'Veon,
There's
no
more
Todd Haley,
scapegoats. You're the
there's
star.
no Antonio Brown, and Juju. While he did put up 1,400 yards last year, he's still relatively young.
Mm-hmm.
Juju's the most uncocky person. He's always gonna come out and say it was my fault.
Yep.
But you haven't had anybody in that Pittsburgh uniform that will come out and do that.
Mm-hmm.
So now Big Ben can't point the finger. We know week in and week out his defense is not going to come out and stack up to the competition.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all on him now. And I believe Prime's point is very true.
I actually have 3 words. One for New England.
Mm-hmm.
How's business?
Boom.
It's booming, bro. I'm sorry. They do this without Antonio Brown, and when Antonio Brown comes in and follow the Patriot way, it's gonna be crazy. He won't have numbers like he had in Pittsburgh, but at this point in Antonio Brown's career, I think he's going after that ring. Money isn't his ultimate goal, as all these other sports medias are coming out and saying. They're saying, how did AB win? Because he lost $30 million, he got $10 million. AB said on LeBron's shop, the money not an issue. He's already well paid, endorsements and everything. It's all about legacy now for AB, and that legacy will be attempting to get a ring with the New England Patriots.
I could definitely see him getting a ring, and 2 possibilities for him. If that Tua and Jerry situation works out, I could see him going home to Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could definitely see him going to Baltimore. If
Well,
Lamar is able
Hollywood,
to keep
yep.
this up,
He just has to change the league's perspective on him, because right now they're painting him as the bad guy. But if he change that perspective, show that he bought into the Patriots, they could show the teams that, hey, I could buy into your system as well.
But I like it. Let him hate.
I'm saying, like,
I'm not worried.
I'm not worried about him either. And what'd you say?
They hate the great players.
Yep.
All the great
T.O.
players.
They said Moss had a bad attitude.
They hate Chad.
Yep.
It is what it is.
I
if
think
you can produce, I really don't. And that's the thing I said about Oakland. There was nobody in there to go ahead and be like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You got to get right. He has a coach. He has a quarterback. He has former players on the coaching staff, Gerard Mayo, who can go up to him and say, let's get right, man.
And what's a better motivation than 6 championships?
Nothing. You just take him down the hallway and say, look at this, man.
Yep.
This is yours. So we're all good.
And my second 3 words, actually 4 words for the Steelers is, Juju, you're on the clock. No more AB. No more Le'Veon. You can no, like you were saying with Big Ben, you can no longer blame anybody. It's time for you to step up, Juju. I know he had 6 catches for 78 yards on 8 targets.
Hear me out, though.
But as a number 1 receiver, that production is not good enough. You need to be exceptional. You need to be like DeAndre Hopkins, Michael Thomas, the great receivers.
Hear me out. 8 targets and 6 grabs on Stephon Gilmore is very good in my book.
But some of them catches were in garbage time.
I understand that. But what are we doing giving 10 targets to Dante Moncrief?
Well, also was getting irking my nerves, because I have Jay Washington on my fantasy team, was Ryan Switzer was heavy in their rotation.
But we know that he needs to be that slot guy.
Yes, I agree.
Can we get 5 more targets to Juju and 5 to James Washington? Why is Dante Moncrief getting red zone looks, Big Ben? That's all I want to know.
After you dropped that pivotal 4th down, they should, at that point, you should have just
you don't have to take him out the game.
Stop looking his way.
He's a big receiver. He looks good on the field. Go ahead and put him on the field. But don't throw him the ball, especially when you need something. He's
critical
moments
moments of the game.
Indianapolis for a reason. But that is all for our Sunday breakdown in 3 words for each game. And our last segment today will be our Thursday night football breakdown. Tampa Bay Bucks versus the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to go ahead and take Carolina in this one. I see Cam Newton being maybe not Cam of old. He'll probably have around 200 passing yards.
McCaffrey finna go.
Oh, McCaffrey's going nuts.
Insane.
But I think Cam will probably get his first rushing touchdown of the season.
Okay.
I think the Carolina Panthers will have a considerable amount of takeaways on defense, and I think we will see a very red Bruce Arians on the sideline.
The Panthers are favorite 6.5 points over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I'll take the over. Looking at it currently, I'll take the over. So Carolina's going to win this game. I'll say. I think Tampa Bay offense going to come out slinging it, though.
Oh, yeah, I think they will. I'm going Carolina 28-17.
28-17? 27-20.
27-20?
Yeah, I think Jameis blows a late game-winning drive again, and the questions of should he still be their quarterback arises in Tampa Bay.
I can agree with that. I like that score. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is all.
That was fun.
From me, Damon,
and Bruiser, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We will be coming to you every week, Tuesday, to break down Monday Night Football action, Sunday's NFL action, give you a breakdown of Thursday Night Football, and going forward as the NBA and more comes into fruition, we'll be giving you updates for that. This is the PACT Life Pod, signing off.
Signing off. Yes, sir.